Chainlink is exploding, but we're going to identify 3 altcoins that might be next. And we're going to identify those and why you should buy them, where you should buy them, and potentially even the exit strategy here. It's time to discover crypto.
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
Thank you for joining on this fantastic Monday episode. Today is February 5th, 2024. And we're celebrating Taylor Swift's win. We're celebrating Chainlink's win. And you know what? It's a win when you hit the like button, everybody. So we appreciate if you go ahead and just knock that out of the way. Josh, how are you doing today, though?
I'm feeling fantastic. I mean, we came in on massive green candlesticks. I think everybody is excited. Drew is retiring with his Chainlink bags here this week. So it's been a good week for us this morning. We're starting to see a little bit of a retracement, but I couldn't be any happier with this
We're going to
Monday.
identify 3 next altcoins that we think could still pump. But what did we tell people on Friday? We said, shut up and what?
Buy Chainlink.
We literally brought out a
Quite
sign
literally.
and said, shut up and buy Chainlink.
And you'd be up like 20%. So, hey, not financial advice, but, sometimes if you, I don't know if I want to say that, but, just buy Chainlink. That's all we're going to say here, guys. Good morning, everybody, though. Kelly, Rat, Crimson, Sawtooth, Fadden, Crypto Chemist, Alexander, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. We are starting to get some bloody charts, though, here on the hour, DZ. We got about a 1% drop on Bitcoin.
Let's go ahead and refresh, make sure we have the freshest data right now. The total crypto market cap is down at 0.1%, not a whole lot. Bitcoin dominance 48.8. Bitcoin is down slightly, but largely just flat. It's only down 0.2%. Like Josh said, down 1% for the hour. So we got a little bit of a short-term retracement here. We keep scrolling down, just see any major movers here. And it looks like Chainlink is the first major mover here, battling for this top 10 spot, depending on what you looked at. Some list Lido staked Ether, some do not. I think CoinMarketCap does not, CoinGecko does. So we have Chainlink right now, a top 10 asset, depending on what market cap you're looking at. But if we look at the biggest gainers, Chainlink, the biggest gainer of the top 100. Drew, how does that make you feel?
I'm going to buy, I talked my neighbor into giving me a deal on the land behind me. I might be purchasing it.
Okay, you're going to roll some Chainlink profits into something you need Chainlink to secure.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that. Good stuff there. It's always a good time to, if you're going to take profits, we're okay with some real estate. There's finite land, depending, how many islands they're going to try to create here. But let's look at the biggest losers as well. Ronin had a pretty good gain. It was flirting with that $3 range. Now it is down 10% on the 24-hour there. Render is down 7%. Maybe eventually a good time to buy. If you look on the 7-day trend line, it looks like it's maybe a not a terrible spot right now. Conflux is down, Flare is down. ETH Classic still green for the week though. And Pyth, a lot of people are talking about Pyth. Pyth is down for the day, but it is up 26% for the week. What are your thoughts on Pyth, Josh?
I don't have too much on Pyth in terms of what they've been doing recently, but for Render, I kind of expected the pullback here because there's a lot of hype around the Apple announcement because they had that Apple integration that people are kind of making along. So that makes sense for the pullback. What I wanted to show, though, was Chainlink because while it's up, I think 6% on the daily, what's insane to see, guys, is in the last 24 hours, the volume is up 96%. Wow. So it's doing $1.1 billion in volume, which, I mean, you could probably take the next 10 on that top 10 list right here in the top 24 hours, and that doesn't even combine their market cap. So it does. We have sway and everything. But in terms of volume, Chainlink is just roaring. And I'd watch the $20 mark because I feel like $20 is going to be psychological. But, at this point, it might just keep ripping through it.
Well, the consensus was it was easy to say Chainlink's going to dump. But me and Josh, we went out here and we said, you know what? Shut up and buy Chainlink. There's a bad event on the horizon, and we're going to look at that. This is from 2 days ago, and if you would have listened to this FUD and you had not listened to me and Josh, you would have got shaken out and you would have missed out on this pump. Chainlink just had a massive $341 million token unlock. Here are the details. 19 million link was unlocked. It was 287 deposited to Binance, and then the remaining was moved to a multi-sig wallet with this address. And so we had unlocked a total of 106 million tokens since August 22. And of that, the vast majority has moved to Binance at an average price of $9. But over the past week, it has increased approximately 25%, despite having reacted well before, the price seems to have dropped slightly during the last 2 unlocks. The question is, what's going to happen this unlock? It looked like it dropped slightly. I expect some, maybe profit sharing to be taken in the next 24 hours as we're coming out of a pump. But long term, we're pretty bullish on Chainlink, right?
Yeah, I pulled up this chart just from a couple weeks ago on sentiment, which honestly, if you had followed this, it was just an early sign of what was about to take place because the amount of link on exchanges is dropping. In fact, it's at its lowest point since February 5th of 2020. So that's like pre-halving, pre-bull run of 2020, moving into those all-time highs. And you see the link wallets with more than 0 coins is now nearing its all-time high once again, sitting at 713,000. So more links being taken off exchanges. You notice the $300 million unlock, and a good sign to see a project has a lot of upside potential in that bull run is the key areas of where people are taking profit. So volume is low. Nobody's selling off Chainlink at $14 or $12. That means that they're holding and accumulating because they believe that price is going to hit a higher position here. So I would watch this this metric coming out over the next coming weeks. I'm going to try to find a real instant one right now. I had to log into sentiment, so I'm just using the one from about a week or 2 weeks ago. But this is all bullish signs for Chainlink. I think it's going to continue to crush it.
Continue to crush it. Someone saying, check out ABT. Looks like it's a pretty smaller coin. It's up 100%. But, without knowing a little bit more, when you got 100 million market cap, I had a 50 million market cap yesterday. It's going to be pretty small there. Is Bitcoin halving going to affect all altcoins in a positive way? What are you guys' opinions of Shiba Inu? Thanks from Max B. Make sure you go and hit that like, Max, there. Generally speaking, the Bitcoin halving is going to be bullish for all of crypto. So yes, that will include altcoins, but there's going to be some projects that are dying projects where even the Bitcoin halving can't resurrect it. Shiba Inu, I would say it's a top 10 altcoin. It's on the bubble for top 5 as far as major altcoins. And, I would say it's pretty going to be a safe play as far as some gains. You'll get a low amount of X's. But we are going to talk about an altcoin and one of the potential winners here. When it comes to an altcoin, what are your thoughts on the major altcoins? The Sheep, the Doge, the Pepe?
Yeah, so Doge I don't think is ever going to leave that like top 15 category. I think it's one of the oldest cryptos on the market. In terms of Shiba, though, we see it at 18. And what I would watch with Shiba is, Shiba is going to be like the Vitalik, I guess, meme coin. I know there's a lot of hype around that in 2021. I would say I would watch for, I think Shiba will obviously perform like you mentioned with the Bitcoin halving. Meme coins are always going to be a part of everybody's portfolio. They're a huge intro for most of the newbies coming into the crypto market. They just jump into dog coins. But I would watch for the meme coins that are now utilizing the mass adoption products like the Solana phone, right? You saw Bonk absolutely pop off and move. I don't actually know where it is in terms of the top, but top 10, I don't know, top 30, I'd have to agree that Shiba's probably not going to move anytime soon.
Okay, all right. Now let's look at the 3 altcoins that we predict are going to pump, and some of them are going to be larger. Look, we're talking about large altcoins. We're not talking about 50 million market cap, although if you want these insane 100x, 100% gains, you are going to have to go a little bit riskier, but we don't want to lead the lambs to the slaughter here. We want to make sure, we put you in the direction of something that safe but lower multiples, and we're going to look at these coins right now. First one, the first of the 3 altcoins. It's no big surprise here that we're bullish on Ethereum. We're bullish on for several characteristics, but number one, ETF is going to be, looming on the horizon. So I expect a lot of positive price action with Ethereum. But 500 million just left exchanges last week. What does this mean for ETH? Although lacking much action and trading around 2,300, on-chain data regarding outflows revealed the current sentiment. And according to Into the Block, $500 million was withdrawn from centralized exchanges this week, bringing the total outflow in the last month, $1.2 billion. So this is people taking it off exchanges. Historically, this signifies that there's less selling pressure. If you put it onto an exchange, you can expect a lot of that's going to be sold. You take it off an exchange, you're going to expect a lot of that to be hodled. So this is bullish for Ethereum here. 500 million just in the last week, making it 1.2 for the last month there. Seeing, massive flows here. Fees, $40 million. Okay, we'll take that. 1.6 million Ether were withdrawn from crypto exchanges. A similar metric shows the ETH reserves on exchanges has been in a free fall for the past year. This is even more important, I would say, the ETH reserve. So it's not about what is leaving, it's about what is left. And what is left is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, guys. Hit that like button if you hate shrinking. All right, as of the 4th of January, statistics indicated the total quantity deposited is amounting to 15 million. We're seeing more and more just leaving these exchanges. Meanwhile, ETH is only up 3.2%. However, important to note, it's on a downtrend after reaching a 23-month high of $2,700. So ETH, we're bullish on ETH. Will ETH be one of the main movers, say, over the next few months?
Yeah, I pulled up a chart here from Crypto Quant. This is going to be an analyst with a quick take here. But when you see that outflow, guys, these massive red sticks, those tend to be right or before a bottoming. So if you see it back in August, September, it was about September 3rd, we had a massive exit of Ethereum from these exchanges, which was followed by the pump here moving into October and, of course, up to the spot ETF announcement. We got a little bit more in December, left up to one more bounce, and we're getting a sell-off again. So now when you see these outflows, guys, it shows that people actually believe the price of Ethereum is going to be going higher and are less likely to actually sell off in the near term. So it doesn't mean it's going to be an immediate pump here. And actually, in fact, what I wanted to say here was you'll notice that August, September, you got September, October, 2 months, 3 months. We're almost 3 months here away from that Bitcoin halving. So it's about that same time frame. We could start actually seeing these whales moving their crypto off of exchanges in anticipation for that Bitcoin halving cycle coming up later this next quarter. So
this time last year, Fortune was favoring the brave. Was that Matt Damon? That was 2 years ago, though. Was
it Larry? Oh, yeah, that was Matt Damon of Crypto.com.
Yeah, this is 22. Yeah, that would have been 2 months after Bitcoin all-time high. Not the best time to buy Bitcoin. 14 months after Bitcoin all-time high. Perfect time to buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I am curious to ask chat here, guys. I know we're getting this price action to the downside right now. I see a lot of new faces in here. Let us know what prices you guys are looking to accumulate Bitcoin. Are you guys buying right now? Are you in the market? Are you sidelined? But what are the prices you're watching for Bitcoin or Ethereum? So we're looking at, what, 35,000, 41,000, I think is another major level. Or are we going to just go straight to 50K? Let me know what you guys expect
for Ethereum
in this next week for Bitcoin. Sorry,
for the next week, ETH to 10K. Here we have, this is the monthly. One more thing on Ethereum, then we'll look at the next two altcoins. Just real quick, the monthly chart is looking very bullish here. You can see last time, we had a nice rounded top, then we went down to the lows, retested, it went a little bit lower, and then once it acted as support, off to the races. So we went down, retested. The only issue, we went slightly lower instead of, significantly lower, but, we are now kind of testing, and will it turn into support? That remains to be seen. All right, next coin, and this is for someone in the chat. They had strong opinions on Cardano. They said it's the S-iest of all the S tokens. I think a lot of people would disagree here. Over 900 proposals seek $50 million in ADA community funding. Part of the reason we're bullish on Cardano is it's in the build phase right now. Cardano is in the build phase for 2024. When it ran up in 2021, it was in the wait and see phase. There was no building. There were no smart contracts. We kind of released smart contracts right near the September top. So, you kind of technically say, but now there's actually developers, now there's projects, and now there's 920 proposals submitted by top Cardano builders, and it's lying in the hand of the holders. Do you want to tell
the truth and just let the community know that you're 919 of those proposals, just hoping they swing that 50 million
I'm
for
just
you?
one of them, vote for me, and I'll talk about Cardano every single day. No, like every other week, IOG released its weekly report looking at the ongoing development and key milestones achieved by the prominent blockchain. And it just looks like momentum is continuing as we get closer to Voltaire era. Also, it has the most developers. We covered this last week. We looked at all the chains and GitHub, basically code commits. You're writing a code and you hit enter. The number one chain after number two, which was Polkadot, number one was Cardano. So we got 920 proposals. We have all the developers building on it, and we kind of have it lagging in price action. Remember, Cardano just had a 50% pump out of nowhere. It teleported from 40 cents to 60 cents, and then is now retraced a little bit. I predict the next run-up is going to shock you as well. It's going to surprise you as well. It's going to happen faster than you expect. I would say Cardano is one of the other altcoins that are going to pump as well. What are y'all's thoughts here?
Yeah, and I don't want people to forget, guys, just in November of last year, Cardano and Polkadot signed a massive partnership together. It's between Hoskinson and then, of course, the foundation itself. So there's a lot of integrations here. So just pay attention to that number, right? They're both number 1 and 2 in terms of activity. Was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they're now the two largest partners on the market, so to speak, in terms of development. So, if you guys aren't bullish necessarily on the price action, which I, of course, am, I do believe Polkadot and Cardano are going to have some significant upside here. But the DEXs and the DeFi liquidity on there, I'd really pay attention to as these proposals start getting filled. $50 million. That is a lot of volume. That's a lot of money. And there are going to be some altcoins within those ecosystems that see a lot of value driven to them.
All right, give us your Cardano and Charles Hoskinson opinions here. DJ Snowcone on the ones and twos. Of all the crypto founders, I think Charles is by far the best. Some people say people are sleeping on Avalanche. Huskinson, not that good. Gregory Benson, Cardano is the girl you bring home to meet your mom. Safe. Okay. I think that's actually a fair assessment there.
Reasonable.
Reasonable take right there. All right, one more. Well, also someone said earlier, you want to talk about Charles Hoskinson's bearish takes on Bitcoin L2s. I think he's kind of positioning Cardano's doing a lot of things that Bitcoin's trying to do with extra smart contract capabilities and, allowing governance and voting. I think he's maybe not going to be the most unbiased person when it comes to a Bitcoin opinion.
Yeah, would Pepsi, tell you how good Coke is and how good the flavor and how sweet it is when they're developing the same thing?
Can't they be unbiased?
Look, probably not, right? They all have stadiums. They have their own stadiums. They have their own football teams. Just understand a little bit of bias coming to the ecosystems because he's talked very highly of Bitcoin. What about ADA is Turtle Walk?
I was just saying it because it's going so slow. Did it feel like a turtle walk when it jumped from 40 cents to 60 cents? That didn't feel like a turtle walk.
Felt like a little, it was a little hop.
Well, those it's those land tortoises that can actually kind of move quickly sometimes. Tortoise lives primarily on land. Turtles primarily water. All right, Cardano should become more like salami, says Cyber Capital's Justin Bonds. Instead of fighting it, Cardano should implement Solana's network strategies. There's a lot of strategies I'd say Cardano would benefit from if it were to implement some Solana-style things like airdrop metas, leaning more into the degen and NFT side. But Justin Bonds of Cyber Capital stirred the pot with his provocative assertion here. They should Cardano and other L1s should be taking cues from Solana's playbook. Let's see. What are they saying here? Instead of critiquing Solana for bot activity and low fees that facilitate arbitrage, competing blockchains should embrace those aspects. I don't know. Did you see the bot activity and failed transactions being counted controversy over Solana this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, what network isn't? It's almost impossible to tell which ecosystem. Okay, maybe they have the most development. How much of that development isn't just double transactions? There's a lot of spoofing that goes on in every single network. What I have to point out, guys, is Solana is worth $41 billion. Cardano's worth $17 billion. I do think there's going to be upside in both, but Solana's marketing and degeneracy has led it to become the layer one that it is today. So, despite it having tons of network outages, if you guys are from, previous bull cycles, you guys know the issues that were at hand. Again, it comes down to you could have the cure for cancer, but if you have no idea how to market that, you're not going to sell that and the world's never going to know about it. So you have to, it's a balance of both networks.
Saw this guy, he had a Facebook post and this herb cured it, he said.
Oh, actually, who's the who's the guy that everybody's talking about? He's he says, hold on, what was it? I got to think about this. It was, I am never sick because he thinks about it. He says it's a mentality issue. So he's
I don't know.
No, it was, I'll find it on here and show you later. It was just ignorant. It was ignorant.
Here's where it gets a little, I don't want to say scammy is not the right word. Here's where it gets a little bit questionable ethically when they're saying, we should take this from the Solana playbook. I would disagree. And he's saying for Cardano to mirror Solana's success, it would need to lower fees, which is good, but then potentially attract more bots, which he views as a measure of utility. Is bots spamming a network with, oh, wow, look at how many transactions we're making. Is that a measure of network utility, or is that just a measure of pumpamentals, not fundamental? Fundamentals or pumpamentals? I vote pumpamentals, not fundamentals.
Yeah, I think it's a balance, but 100% pumpamentals, especially with Solana. It's why its NFT ecosystem was so adopted. We were at a time when, Ethereum, we were spending $400 or $500 on a transaction. I remember when I was selling Pudgy Penguins, I watched my Pudgy Penguins go from worth $600 to well over 10,000. When I went to sell those penguins, it was $300 for the transaction. So of course your regular community isn't going to be looking at that and be like, this is for everybody. Solana adopted that, but I did find this sick video. I have to share this with you guys. It's literally 3 seconds long. Watch this.
The cop going down the slide?
Do we have audio coming through?
I'll turn it on for you.
Yeah, we're going to turn on the audio. Yeah, so this guy straight up says, I haven't gotten sick, and here's why. Let me know if the audio goes through.
It's not working for me.
No, I can't. No, it's all good. So that's the guy. I forgot his name. His name was Chris Ron, and he says, how do people get sick? He's like, I've never been sick. I wake up, and it's because it's a mentality issue. So he pretty much cured cancer just by saying
you just think it, willing to exist and do that.
Yes.
Will. All right, last altcoin that we're going to go to Kelly in the charts. And Kelly, if you can hear me, I want to know some Doge activity on some of these larger time frames. Me and Johnny get into a little debate of what we figure Doge's top was going to be. So the next coin, it's a meme coin, and we're saying this altcoin could pump. If you got some Chainlink profits, maybe be careful. I'd probably rather hold Chainlink at this level than Dogecoin. But I actually think Doge might outpump it. Dogecoin adoption exploding as almost 1 million new addresses are added. Has been witnessing impressive increase in the number of addresses. Let's see. Ali Martinez had mentioned this could soon reflect positively on Doge's prices. We have seen lately, over the past 6 months, wallet creation has preceded price pumps often. We're not going to say every time, but we've seen it. It predicts it usually about a month or 2 weeks ahead of time. So now we're seeing a bunch of new addresses in Doge. Will history repeat itself? So it looks like 250,000 were made on January 29th alone. To me, this doesn't seem not natural, but we've seen not natural pumps can pump a token, Solana. So sometimes, you get a botted activity, what some might consider potentially botted activity. It leads to a price pump. What do you think about the almost 1 million Dogecoin addresses being created in a week? Is this retail? Is this natural? Or is this two nerds in a basement?
I think it just two nerds in the basement. I'd have to go with the latter. No, it's bullish no matter what, guys. The more adoption, more address, and more activity, that's always going to be bullish for a network. But it's just like social media. So, with Facebook, is there actually, a set amount of views people are getting on that video? Is it actually 2 million views, or is half of that botted through the network because it benefits them with their advertisers and their advertisement? It's the same thing with these networks. So it's not that I'm bearish or that I'm negative on the projects. That's just understanding the technology and the actual actions that are taking place on these networks. So bullish, definitely bullish. It's not bearish whatsoever. And of course, I do think Dogecoin is going to continue to be adopted moving into this bull run.
Well, what is the culprit?
Ordinals. It's always the ordinals.
Here we had, it's been doing 1 million transactions daily since January 30th. So it looks like we're about 6 days in a row having 1 million transactions. That's pretty good. I would say that feels like a bull market. There could be 2 reasons. And number 1 is going to be Doginals or Doganals. And not only that, the release of Doom on the Dogecoin chain here. So we had the Bitcoin ordinal standard being deployed on Doge, which is technically a fork of a fork of a fork of Bitcoin. It's not quite a fork of Litecoin. It's pretty close. And then Litecoin's a fork of Bitcoin there. So it's NFTs. Will this turn into price action? And guys, what do we have for price activity? Maybe that just leads us into Kelly here. Kelly, I want to know, man, what is your price prediction for Dogecoin for this next cycle? Johnny said a bearish take, and I'm a little bit more bullish. I'm coming in around 50 cents, maybe even everything goes crazy. Elon Musk gets a Doge tattoo. I know that's a hot topic right now. Maybe $1, but I like 50-cent Doge. What do you say here?
It's really hard to figure things out with Doge because the community is so strong and it's essentially the oldest altcoin, right? And we have the horizon with X payments probably integrating Doge at some point. But
wow, the whole Twitter narrative. Yeah, the X narrative too.
There's so much inflation comparatively with, a lot of other coins out there.
Kelly, let me push back on that. Now, I looked at the inflation. I was looking at the tokenomics this morning. It does inflate and the number seems scary. But when you look at the percentage relative to supply, it is a drop in the bucket compared to Arbitrum, Optimism, Sui, Say, Chainlink. All these coins have a higher inflation schedule than Doge. So you hear a number, was it 500 million? Oh my God, it sounds so scary. But then you look at the total number. So I agree with the inflation, previous all-time high. If you go by coin price, it's a 9x. But if you go by market cap, it's only 7x. So we haven't seen that much of a disparity.
Well, that's where I was going to head in the conversation to is I think that, and you talk about this as well a lot, the pumpamentals around coins is heavily tied not only to the data about the tokenomics, but a large in part with what's going on with the community and the speculative nature underlying that community. And I think Doge is one of those projects that as new people come in, they've been hearing that as much as they've been hearing Bitcoin and other things. And
oh, wow,
Doge
that's a good point.
Doge feels more accessible because most people, as much as we are aware of it, most people coming into the market think Bitcoin is expensive because
No.
they can't, like, I can't afford 43,000, but I can afford however many thousands of 7-cent coin. And for that reason, I think it's going to see a lot of new adopters.
Two great points,
there.
two great points. Obviously, token price matters for newer entrants much more than market cap. We know it shouldn't, but it does. Second point, there's a thing in sales, people, and maybe Kelly, maybe I'm mind reading here. I think you're alluding to this. There's a thing in sales where you don't buy that vacuum cleaner, that home security system, that vehicle. You don't buy it the first time. It takes like 7 contacts, 8. You got to hear it over and over and over again, and then you buy it. Is Doge that thing you've heard about 9 times already over the past 4 years? And then at the top, you're like, okay, young intern that works at the insurance company with me, I'll go ahead and buy that Dogecoin. Very good point. All right. Well, given all that, what is your price target for Doge?
I would say, and I think this is actually going to be higher than I even want to admit, but I think somewhere in the 45 to 55 cent area.
Okay, too much selling pressure at 50. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's in 2024. I think just like with the rest of the market, I think 2025 is going to see some pretty strong price action when we pull up.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Are we going bullish here? Tell me where it's going in 2025. I'm already at the edge of my stool, and I'm about to have stool.
Hey, everybody thinks, it's like the never-ending battle for $1 on Dogecoin, right? Everybody's like, when it gets to $1, and I just want to point to people out. I mean, we have these very strong impulses on Doge. When retail does choose to start getting in, we get these very, very fast movements. But what I really want to point to is this period right here, all this consolidation chop. Again, all this consolidation chop that's turning into, I think it's going to be pretty strong accumulation. I do think we'll at some point actually hit $1. But my question is going to be is once we get to that level, is it going to be a sell area between that $1.15 area? So don't just jump in and think that this is a long-term hold unless you're willing to ride the waves up and down. So
I would agree. I think retail is going to have the narrative that they're going to buy hook, line, and sinker, Doge to $1, hold to $1. And then you're going to have someone who thinks they're smart by selling at 98 cents. Someone thinks they're smarter by selling at 96 cents. Someone thinks they're smarter. You continue down the line. The question is, where are you going to sell?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But there is something that can support this idea with all these altcoins, and that is a couple of these charts I want to bring up right here. Look at this. This is the altcoin market. One of these indicators a lot of people forget about, just a general indicator, which is a Gaussian channel. And the last time it flipped green, this is 2020. This is basically showing the real start of that bullish initiative move all the way up to the altcoin all-time high. We have flipped green here. When we look over here as well at this chart, this is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And we can see these areas right in here with these previous lows of this range that ends up being a gateway once you push out, having a little bit of a retest and then launch to the upside. And when we look at this on the chart, this is the total market cap right here. Similarly, minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Similarly, we came up, tested it, and now broke through it, came down and found it as support. Similarly, this is at low, this is at retest again. We have broken above it, and we have come down and regionally tested in this area. It doesn't mean that we can't have a 5, 8, 20% pullback on some individual alts within this, but we are setting up for this ultimate huge sort of move that we're looking for in the entire market. Now, when we get over to Bitcoin, let's go ahead and look at some of the things I want to look at here. This is on the 4-hour chart. We are essentially just trading in this range all the way back here since December 3rd, just, flushing liquidity out to the upside, flushing liquidity out to the downside. But what I really want to pay attention to here is on Lux Algo. I just want to notice that if we pull up the indications here, we're chopping in this range. We have some known trend lines that are on this, but if we look at just the Lux Algo indications, we're pushing up into this sort of reversal bands right in the zone, coming down, tested this lower side, and we're seeing the oscillator metrics kind of come up into the zone, and we're not able to break past this zone yet. So I don't think we have any signal for us to move to the upside. And in fact, on the daily, we had this sell signal. And then when you have these purple candles, it means it is still sell, but this is when you get these red candles here following this. It's when you're still having concerted sort of data signals suggesting this weakness is still in order. And so I'm still a little concerned right here about that potential pullback. Now, everybody wants that price action move to the upside, but things are consolidating at the moment. So I think people need to be okay with the price action hurting more by going sideways and tricking you like right here, back up and having another trap to the upside and come down. Right now, all the signals are suggesting there's not a real clear signal if it's going to go up or down. So I think right now is a time of patience because of all the all the data in the chart. There's not a concerted thing that says we're going up or down. In fact, we're kind of just hovering in a zone right now. So I think the max pain at this point right now is the ability to be patient, because remember, we feel like the market's not moving, but look at how fast Bitcoin has moved over the last 14 years. And we're coming up, I think we're 95, 96% of the way to the halving. I'm looking at this right now. If we do get any dip, I am a net buyer of anything. In fact, I just started scaling in. I picked up one of the coins that you called out, DZ.
Uh-oh, which one?
On my radar, Akala.
Yes.
You put it on my radar.
Akala? Yeah, is it good?
Akala,
doing well?
Yeah. It's making a little bit of a move. Let's see, ACA, Akala. It's ACA, right?
ACA. So this is a Polkadot parachain, and in my experience dealing with parachains, multiple DeFi products, NFTs, doing the whole thing, this to me has just been one of the more user-friendly chains, one of the more user-friendly parachains.
Yeah, so it had this sort of strong move to the down, and this isn't the full chart. They had some other stuff over here, but strong move to the downside.
Whoa,
had this
16% today.
Push up, and then we have a higher low. And then not only do we have a higher low, look, we have a higher high here. And so we're really setting up, I think, for what could be a pretty strong move. And this is on one of those networks that you were talking about. It's within that Polkadot ecosystem. So let's be smart with how we're allocating our money. Let's get some diversification, because the market is very soon going to be pushing way beyond these levels that you're scared to get in at. So take your shots, be patient, and let it develop.
All right. Good stuff there. Always a great time, Kelly. Thank you very much, man. Check out the BITLAB Academy. We're always putting up the trades, always having just a good time hanging out. Some really good traders in there as well.
Yeah. And chat was talking about how we're plummeting a little bit right now, guys. Yeah, we came from about 43,550, 43,600 earlier this morning. We've dropped now down to 42,600. It's been a bit of a pullback. So I know we just did a bunch of TA on the Dogecoin, and I am extremely bullish, just like Kelly, as he just pointed out some amazing stuff. I wanted to point out, just in the short term, guys, we do have, liquidations that can be wiped out below us. So if we do get that drop, like you mentioned, I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking for these pullbacks. I'm looking to accumulate, and more importantly, just prepare myself for that halving. So great TA today.
All right. We also have a Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin price still stands, but there's some Bitcoin whales making some big moves, folks. And Josh, this is gonna all tie together. What was the month of this recent bear market? What month did Bitcoin reach its lowest point?
November 2022.
November 22. Good job there. I'm glad you had that answers queued up here. All right, well, let's read this article because there's something very compelling here. We saw a little bit of a decline, wallets holding between 100 and 1,000. But what about the big whales? All right, these are the whales 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. All right, we're talking about millionaires here, right? Really, at 100K, we're looking at, close to $1 billion there, or $1 billion. They have grown their stashes by 2.5%. When you see that, you're like, oh, there's only 50. There's not that many of these giant whales. This is a small pod, everybody. It's a small pod of these big whales. Well, last time that we saw this type of whale activity, it was November 22, and I'm trying to find the area where it says that. But yeah, November 22, here it goes. The number is down for the other whales. This is the lowest we've seen these whales. So I don't know if this is consolidating. You go from 100 to 1,000, you start consolidating, and you go from 1,000 plus. Last time we saw this number, November 22, what happened? Very, very bullish period after that. Are we getting close? Are we faking people out by not doing that retest? Is it just going to be up and to the right from here?
Yeah, I think this just comes to that factor of you have big whales, and while everybody, all these short-term holders have been selling off at, whether it's 30,000, 35,000, 25,000 on this way up, the people holding today are now expecting further price action. I think that has a huge part of the Bitcoin halving that's coming right around the corner. That is the biggest narrative of 2024. I expect a lot of hype and volume to come back into the market, more than likely up in March, if not April, as we approach that halving. And I honestly think whales are just waiting for it. So even though we're seeing that number come down, it actually could say 100% that we are seeing a local bottom on the price of Bitcoin here. So maybe that's 38K, maybe it's 41K again. But, it is a very bullish indicator.
Well, speaking of a local bottom, Plan B says 40K may be the bottom forever.
Well, we're going to 20K.
Forever. It will never go lower than 40K. According to Plan B here. So this is going to be the run post-halving. So this is going to be after April. It says the price may never dip below $40,000. He pulls up the stock to flow chart saying, hey, calm down. We still got, I think, 3 blue dots to go to bridge the gap to meet the expected upward trajectory. And if you look here, this is, what was it, around 800K or something like that. It gets really, really high when you start looking at these numbers. I don't know if we're going to go to 800K next cycle. I think we should all be pretty happy, though, if we can get above this line. That'd be above 100K. 100K, 200K Bitcoin price. No one really knows the exact price, but it's fun speculating where Bitcoin's going to go in 2025. I like above 100K though. You like above 100?
I love above 100. I think 100 is going to be a really psychological number, and I don't mean to sound bearish on that, but think about the altcoins though. How where your altcoins are at today with Bitcoin sitting at 43K versus where they would be at $100,000 Bitcoin. It just goes back to, I pulled up this chart here at the Bitcoin halvings here. You got obviously December 12th, July 16th, May 20th, April 24th, guys. We're coming right up to that halving. You notice that on the monthly chart, there's sometimes a dip right before the halving, and we could be approaching a bit of a pullback here soon. But really, we are 1 to 2 months away from that halving where, people are expecting anywhere from a 200 to 550% gain here. So I think 6 figures is in the picture no matter what. It's inevitable at this point. Whether it's 2024, 2025, 2026, is to be a different answer. But that's why we have altcoins. Altcoins are going to pump massively.
Well, I have a little bullish chart on TradingView right here. You can see here we have the Lux Algo indicator on the bottom. But, this isn't the perfect setup right here. But oftentimes, if we break out to the upside, it will be about the length of this pole right here. And then if you look, that gives us short-term, meaning 2024, maybe even first half 2024, $65,000 Bitcoin. I kind of like that. That comes in pretty close to the May high, a little bit below November high, and then we reject, consolidate before we go blast off zone 2025. Well, we don't know if that'll play out, but we'll see. The next halving is going to spell a surge in price as demand outpaces supply, especially if we continue with the ETF outflows. We're seeing more and more, inflows, outflows out of exchanges, outflows out of minor wallets and exchanges here. The imminent halving in April will slash the monthly issuance, because we always talk about the 10 minutes, but if we look at the monthly issuance, it's going to go from 27,000 Bitcoin released every month. If you don't know, all the computers securing Bitcoin, they're all airdropped. You can consider it 27,000 Bitcoin a month, almost 1,000 a day. And then it's going to get cut to 13,000 Bitcoin every month. And that's going to lead to the supply shock, which ends up giving us the positive price action there. BJ, yes, are you a fan of Surge, the citrus drink?
Yes.
Okay,
is it coming back out or something right now?
You look like you love yellow number 5, right? You just love yellow number 5?
I
like
can
Red Dye
specifically
40.
think of watching Billy Madison eating ramen, drinking Surge. That's childhood right there.
We had Andy say alts game because big institutions are here, and Bob say so it's better for a couple $1,000s in altcoins than Bitcoin. So my objective, guys, is always to stack more Bitcoin, stack those sats. So with altcoins, I do expect more return, but they are a higher risk. So the entire bull run, it's why I have a strategy. I know you guys talk about the 50-25-25 with me, is to, as I make profits in this bull run, is to transfer that into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, in my opinion and perspective, is a store of value. So as you see Jerome Powell and stuff that we're going to talk about in just a second, so you want to make sure you smash that like button. I do expect a lot of uncertainty from both a fiscal and monetary policy moving in the United States in the next 10 years. That's why I Bitcoin. What altcoins will be around in 10 years? I don't know. Will Bitcoin be around? I'm 100% certain. In my perspective, that's my opinion, and that's my whole objective.
DJ Snowcone, it seems odd Grayscale would sold so much Bitcoin in the past few weeks if they thought the price would greatly increase. It's not Grayscale selling technically. It's Grayscale's customers selling.
And they all got rich.
And there's a lot of speculation that they're selling in grayscale and putting it into IBIT. They're putting it into BlackRock's ETF because of lower fees, lower rates. So they're escaping high rates, maybe even taking a tax hit, or they have some really smart, account where they somehow know some exemption and they get away with that, right? I wouldn't be surprised. And so a lot of it is a fee jump. It's fee arbitrage there. But let's get into some bullish Bitcoin predictions here. Let's hear that moon math. Well, this expert is saying $122,000 for 2024. I would say that is pretty bullish. 122 for 2024. Well, wait a minute. By the end of 2025. Oh, they lied. Oh, by next year. So I took it as the beginning of next year. Like, hey, by next year. No, by the end of next year. Exactly.
They didn't say by the end. They said by next year.
This isn't
by January 1st.
You know what? Because it's not Hi Malai or whatever that guy's name is. Because he didn't write it. It's Francisco. Francisco, we're watching you now. No, so this year they're saying $77,000 by the end of 2024, and then 122 by the end of 2025, 350K by 2030. I would say this one definitely feels bearish. If you look at just our debt to GDP ratio, but that's another topic for another video.
It looks bearish compared to ARK, that's for sure.
Now, for their 2030 price prediction, $2.3 million. We don't got to get into the article. Let's just talk about that, Josh. $2 million for 2030.
That means if you buy one Bitcoin today at $40,000, you're a millionaire in 8 years.
Is that
multi-millionaire?
Is that possible?
I think it's. That's hard to say. I think we can get like to a $600,000 market cap Bitcoin. 2.3 million, guys, just to put in perspective, $657,000 Bitcoin would be about the same price ratio as comparable to gold. So that's like a $10-13 trillion market cap, somewhere in that range. So 2.3 million, we're talking about a $40-50 trillion market cap. Like, look, I would love to say that I'm on that route and on that train, but no, I would say $600,000 Bitcoin.
Well, here's the scenario they spell out, and I'm not going to say it's super likely, but it's definitely super plausible here. And they're saying, all right, look, if everyone does 1%, this is what it's going to pump to, right? So if Bitcoin share in global investment portfolios were just to hit 1%, it looks like we get $120,000 Bitcoin. However, if they said a best case scenario, this share increases to 20%. Meaning all the investment portfolios out there, 20% allocation to Bitcoin by 2030. That gives us a $2.3 million Bitcoin. Will we ever see a 20% share in investment portfolios? That seems a little bit high. I think 10% might be the best case scenario.
I think the honest answer to this is we have to wait and see for the next 4 years. Because if we cannot get our fiscal policy handled by Congress and actually get a budget on the United States dollar, it doesn't matter what the Federal Reserve does. Congress and whatever administrations follow this, if we see any kind of disruption in that fiscal that policy where they continuously borrow from next generations, which means, guys, from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, to the 2000s, it's now this generation that's feeling the repercussions from the boom and bust cycle, I would say. So in terms of a $2.3 million Bitcoin, I would love that because we're not going to be rich. We are going to have 50,000-foot yachts.
All right.
I don't know.
BJ, we have $2 million Bitcoin. What is one Cardano? What's 180?
350.
350?
$350, though, right?
I'm sorry, 350. You're right.
All right. Yeah,
what's Bezos' yacht?
All right. So the kid coming and Truck Dano, you guys are killing me with the comments. Pretty funny there. No, we're a little bit lower, but let's give a big shout out. Big shout out to the Chad of Wall Street CEOs.
The Giga Chad.
The Giga Chad, the laser-eyed behemoth of Bitcoin. It is Michael Saylor's birthday. He's aged 59 years old, chairman of MicroStrategy and legendary Giga Chad, as Rizzo stated 59. Here. About 180,000 Bitcoin since 2020. It's one thing to have 180,000 Bitcoin because you're like, I was mining in 2011 and heck, I was buying pizzas for 10K Bitcoin. This man bought 180 post 2020. It doesn't get much more legendary than that.
Yeah, so I wanted to pull up the yacht here. This is if we hit $2.3 billion or $2.3 million Bitcoin, this is where Hit Network is going to be live streaming from. So I would love for that to happen. Have you, like, I don't know, we'll have mega yachts at that range. Altcoins would soar. You would be a multi-billion-dollar Cardano holder.
Yeah, but $1 billion doesn't even buy a yacht in this world.
It gets us like at least a week of, you know,
We can
gas
rent.
for
We
one.
can rent a yacht. Yeah. Look, money won't buy you happiness.
It will buy you gasoline.
It'll sure as hell rent you some.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
that's true.
All right, let's see here. All right, we got one more gold. Let's talk about gold. Where are my gold bugs at? I have a little silver. I guess I'm wearing gold. You know, I have a little gold here. Do we have any gold investors in the chat? BJ, do you have any precious metals?
Silver.
Silver? You got a little silver. You got any silver or gold, Josh?
Yeah, I have some physical of both.
Okay,
yeah.
you have silver bullets for werewolves?
Yes, and
Okay.
for people that creep outside of our building. So,
Well, you know, if you take enough steroids, you grow
Jesus.
enough body hair, you'll look like a werewolf. You like how I did that?
That was
Anyways,
good.
all
That was
right.
good. That was good.
Hey, every
Yeah.
now and then I'll pull one out. Commodity analyst Mike McGlone, famous gold bug, says gold glitters over Bitcoin. Gold is just superior to Bitcoin as the crypto to metal ratio plunges
Dude.
post 2021. You know what I see? Buy the dip. Makes me want to sell my gold and buy some Bitcoin. So he was saying he's a Bloomberg commodity analyst, and he remarks that Bitcoin has fallen short of gold's performance since Bitcoin top of 2021. So they look at Bitcoin's peak and then they compare it to gold. They're like, gold's better, clearly. Let's revisit that at Bitcoin's next peak. In fact, let's just revisit it when Bitcoin touches all-time highs again. I would love to revisit this. I do think it'll take a while to pass that, though. But you know what? There were some people who sold Bitcoin for gold, and they're doing pretty well. But is now the time to sell the gold for Bitcoin? I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. Like you said, we got to revisit that in a year. Gold bugs are constantly going to try to find the one metric that makes them seem right. So that way they can sell you another 12 books on why you need to buy their gold. So, you know, I think you should just have a little bit of both. You know, we don't know where the markets are going to go, but Bitcoin is decentralized on a global scale while gold is centralized to first world countries. So
DJ
that.
Snowcone, I got some copper. It's the Shiba Inu of gold. I hope you weren't like breaking into homes and stealing their pipes.
Yeah,
You know,
oh my God.
I hope you're not like scrapping.
Scrap
Look,
metal, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with legal scrapping, but don't like trespass and don't like steal from people's infrastructure. Don't go to like a new construction site and like, hey man, look at all this. Oh, look at all this brass I could turn into Bitcoin. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not going to endorse it. I'm not going to endorse it.
That's going to be our side hustle video coming out next week.
But speaking of endorsing, there were some endorsements for Bitcoin, some major endorsements for Bitcoin. You talk about Google allowing ETF ads. Facebook and Instagram are going to join Google in enabling Bitcoin ETF ads. We don't got to get into the weeds here. Just kind of touch on this real quickly. I think Google is going to be the better avenue, better vehicle for ETF ads. I think you can really pinpoint who you're going to sell to. Facebook, Instagram. I mean, who's going to see an Instagram ad for a Bitcoin ETF and be like, you know what? I should close this app.
Yeah,
And-
it's a one-click stop to go buy Bitcoin right now.
let's pull up.
I
yeah,
wonder how
no.
scammy they're going to come across. I think it's just going to be a regular Vanek ads, but Facebook might work. I think Facebook might work because if you can fearmonger the crowd enough and saying, okay, there's an invasion at the border and the world's over, store that value, it might work here. But either way, it's more advertisement, and this is going to finally kind of hopefully lead us to a year where we go to Thanksgiving or Christmas and it's no longer how's that crypto thing going. It's like, hey, I bought my first Bitcoin. You know, it's like maybe that push to adoption we need for our grandmothers.
Can I get your 2 cents on GameStop from Solana community? I'm taking it here. It was a great vehicle for onboarding people onto Bitcoin, and I think, you know, the big gains of GameStop are gone forever. You know, you're not going to buy at $3 and sell at $300, but that can happen in cryptocurrency. So, you know, if you got into investing by wanting to stick it to the big man, because you saw what happened with Citadel, Ken Griffin, you know, Vlad, Robinhood, and you saw everything that happened there, and it just made you feel a little uneasy, made you feel a little bit like things aren't fair. I would say Bitcoin is the number one way to stick it to the man today. So, you know, I think it's a great brand. I haven't been inside a physical location in a long time, though.
Somebody that's embarrassed, though, of advertisements. We have Facebook and Google and Instagram integrating ads now. Somebody got some cold feet this year because of previous cycles with their advertisements, and that's going to be
Larry David.
Close, the entire Super Bowl.
The entire Super Bowl. That is right.
They're embarrassed.
They went old school. It appears, you know, I don't know if there's going to be any last minute changes, but no crypto or AI ads this year.
Go old school. No more Ponzi
I
ads.
think they have the I don't know if there's any commercials open, like last second deal, but BMW, DoorDash, Budweiser, State Farm, Oreo have secured slots here, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any crypto ads. But really, people want to know, how much Taylor Swift are we going to see? It's a Swiftie households. So me and Josh, we settled our steak dinner, and we learned we both live in Swiftie homes, huh?
Oh yeah, full on Swiftie homes. You're a fan, even if you're not a fan, and if you were thinking about being a fan, you were always a fan.
Oh,
so
if you're not a fan, you're against her.
You're
it's kind of like
against her.
Bitcoin, right? If you're not for it, you're against it.
Look, we're both engaged at this point. I want her to say yes at the altar, and in order for her to say I do, I have to say I Taylor Swift. I
have to walk out to Taylor. I have to walk out to it and dance and stuff. It's a whole thing.
Wait, really?
Dude, that'd be single
I was like,
cell.
okay, mine's not that far.
No. That'd be funny though. You know what? Is there anything wrong with that, chat? Would there be anything wrong with DZ walking down the aisle to Swiftie? Huh? Would there?
I think you'd crush
shake it off. Maybe that'd be a little odd, and it'd make me feel
DZ is
uncomfortable.
no longer Giga Chad now.
No longer.
I don't lean on my photos. You know what I mean? Straight line on DZ's photos. I still like going into a GameStop store. That's cool. Budweiser sucks. I'm old. I remember it was all beer drank was Bud. It was just, you saw the king of beers. You saw the red and white cans everywhere. Now Bud Light, I'm surprised they're even advertising.
Well, no, yeah. Before you make a crazy joke there, and we get canceled for talking trash on Taylor Swift here, I have to say Budweiser in Europe is a million times better though. Like they have actual pilsner.
It's like Coca-Cola in Mexico.
Yeah, it's completely different. Here though, it is like water, but you grow up on that. It's like your Bud Light, But yeah, out there it's like a full-on pilsner.
All right. Well, Bitcoin. All right. We also got some Nayib Bukele news here. He declares election victory. Will Bitcoin investments continue? Of course it will, but please don't buy the top. Nayib, please just don't buy any Bitcoin in 2025. You can buy some now, buy some for the next 6 months, maybe even 9, but please stop buying. Don't buy any Bitcoin in 2025, Nayib. I'm telling you now, do not buy Bitcoin 2025. You're going to lead your country. Just wait. All right. Put dry powder on the sidelines. Start buying a whole bunch 2026, 2027, and then recycle and then repeat and recycle. Okay, but yeah, it's another victory. We're seeing Javier win. Nayib got another win. Just bullish for South America and cryptocurrency in general. So big champions of crypto down there. We love to see it. The frogs were awesome. Are we talking about tetrazine in the water? What are they talking about there, BJ? Oh, the Budweiser frogs.
Atrazine.
Atrazine, not tetrazine. What's tetrazine?
I have no clue.
Atrazine, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, Budweiser. Do you remember the Budweiser frogs? Or are you too young?
What? The ageism constant. Yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, hey, look, I don't get SpongeBob references.
Was it like hiccups from drinking so much beer?
No, we're having another pineapple moment.
They missed that one? Oh, I don't know. They had a moment there.
Let's see. Legendary. Oh, we have that clip. There's something you want to do with that legendary investor in their clip? Was there a clip we're going to play here?
This leads perfectly into Bukele. So you have legendary investor Jim Rogers, who, by the way, guys, said Bitcoin was never going to really be anything. He's kind of switching. Thinks it's going to be a trading vehicle, which I agree with. But you should have it. It's at 36 and 20 seconds. Is that what's on your PC, or is it only on mine?
35:45 is where I'm at.
Okay, start there. That's fine. It might be one or the other. So essentially, this just comes right after what we mentioned with Bukele. And I'm going to have to say I disagree with what he's about to say.
And he's got the confidence to wear a pink shirt.
Damn it.
Well, my point just to clarify is that I don't see cryptocurrencies becoming money because the governments do not want that competition. Yes, we do have Bitcoin as being accepted more and more, but I don't think it's a legitimate currency anywhere yet, except maybe El Salvador. But El Salvador only has 6 million people, so I don't think that's going to change the world.
What a blowhard! Yeah. Oh, there's only 6 million people. It's not going to change anything. It's the first domino. Okay, it is the first domino. I think we are going to see more and more.
It's also 6 million people. Can we I don't know when people downgrade that so much. It's only 6 million people. It's 6 million people that are utilizing this as a currency now. And Bukele just got elected president with an 86% favorable position. How are you going to just downplay? You know what? You only won with 86%. You only have 6 million people saying, you're doing what's good for us. You're really just not that worried. That's what they're saying to him.
He's bringing up this point. Well, governments aren't going to want it to compete with money. Yeah, you're right. Governments are going to want it. The elites are going to want it. Those who control the money printer in any given country, they are going to want it. But there's a lot of democracies out here, and the people will want it. And that's what matters, and that's what's important. You can't stop the people. You can fool them, and you can put the wool over their eyes, but eventually people are going to stop being sheep. They're going to start waking up. and Bitcoin is, it is Morpheus giving you that pill. I know I sound like a little dramatic here, but it's literally you're waking up and out of, I hate saying the matrix because it's such a loaded term because of top G, but honestly, it's they lie to you, they tell you a false narrative, and you wonder why, there's two people and they can see the same day and it's two different events. There's two movies on one screen, and we're not seeing what's actually happening. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but what we do know, they want to stop Bitcoin. And to me, that's the biggest glowing endorsement I need. That's all I need to know. The elites hate it. The people who print our money into oblivion hate it. And it's the only escape for inflation. In America, and probably the country you're watching at right now, 10% inflation, 20% inflation, 5% inflation. We can handle that. There's many people with 100% inflation. They can't handle that. And they wonder why their kids are hungry at night. Bitcoin is the answer. And so, it's easy to get worked up about it because the elites, they just want to keep you out of it. And that kind of leads us into this next article here. Mm-hmm. Arkansas wants to make it illegal to mine Bitcoin. They're facing some backlash over the right to mine law amid Bitcoin mining disputes here. There's a bold move from Arkansas. It's the Arkansas Data Centers Act. I love how they just doesn't say what the bill is. And the right to mine law will shield cryptocurrency mining operations from local opposition, crafted with Satoshi Action Fund. Yeah. So we love seeing this. So it looks like this is for an advocacy group for crypto, but it's getting some backlash and some challenges here. The fallout has been swift and severe, with communities reporting life-altering noise pollution and environmental degradation here. Noise pollution? Really? Noise pollution?
You've been to
some warehouse
farm,
in the middle of oh my God, yeah. It's not trains. It's not airplanes. I lay up at night at that distant Bitcoin mining facility.
I haven't even been to one that's like loud unless you open up the container. Like it's pretty quiet on the outside.
Yeah.
So it's, I honestly have no idea what they're referring to and to which Bitcoin mining facility just has this like noise outside. So I just think it's people complaining again.
Arkansas,
for no reason.
You need to be on the right side of history here. Do not make it illegal to run a computer because that's what you're doing there. And then what are they going to do when it's like your phone can mine? Your phone's illegal.
Or when Neuralink can mine.
Yeah.
Your brain's thinking too hard, DZ. Like, stop it.
Yeah, you thought too hard there. Yeah. We got some people from Mexico. I think we got some people from India watching as well. If you're outside of America, let us know so we can kind of, we see some articles. We got a big community in a specific location. We will share this news to you, but we need to know where you guys are from. All right, we have the governor of the largest state in the Intercontinental 50, Greg Abbott of Texas. Now, we want to be the home of innovation, and Bitcoin is the cutting edge of innovation. Yeah. This is 6 minutes, so we won't go to the whole video here, but Greg Abbott seems to be on the right side of some issues lately. So, hey,
Yeah, I think it comes out of the perfect time. New York's struggling with all of their positions on cryptocurrency. You have them pushing out, you just saw like the immigration thing where they had people, I'm going to have to say it here, but they beat up the cops, you let them go. Abbott was playing off this, and at the same time, you have the drive and push of cryptocurrency outside of New York, where they're now trying to, hey, sorry, we were joking. We want you to build here. Wall Street realizes they actually need crypto. And Texas being this kind of safe haven for that freedom value and that freedom of choice, freedom of opinion and speech and everything. So he's coming out at the same time. He talks about that in the 6 minutes here. But Bitcoin being that cutting edge of innovation, he wants to drive a lot of entrepreneurs to come and actually build inside of Texas itself. So,
okay, you didn't want to get a whole bunch of people in to fight cops, though?
No, not quite.
And then come out like it's a rap cover,
I think he's just using it at the perfect time. It's like Texas, the freedom states, and I think that's where they're going with it. But would you move to Texas is the question.
Well, I moved from Texas. Yeah. Actually, I you know what? I was not that bullish on Abbott because of the electrical grid failures. So Abbott, you gotta clean your own house. So it's no one's perfect, and so I'd honestly rather have tough on certain laws than like a rolling blackout. I don't think we lost power, but I know a lot of people in the state did, and so it was pretty tough for a lot of people there. Also, though, Texas, they love it hot, and so I know a lot of people running that heat pretty strong there. Love from Dubai. All right, the automotive joint there.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is anybody from Texas in the chat?
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Yeah,
and I see quite a few.
Do we have any Tehans here?
Some guy said he's from. That's where you asked Kev's from. He's got internet connection.
Oh, Kev. All right, cool. No comment there. All right, let's talk about Fed. Fed's Powell says U.S. on unsustainable fiscal path as debt burden grows. Said we need more confidence in the U.S. economy before it can begin cutting rates. He was asked directly. I think you're going to work a video on this, right?
Yeah, I have a video coming on this probably later tonight. It should be out tonight, just on fiscal and monetary policy and what it means.
All right, so make sure you have on notifications. Josh is going to break it down very succinctly. We don't want to try to force feed you a 30 seconds assessment, so stick around there. Let's just say this: the debt unsustainable, and something has to change very, very quickly. I guess we'll tease it with this 25 seconds here.
Yeah.
Sustainable fiscal path. The U.S. federal government's on an unsustainable fiscal path, and that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy.
I have the sense this worries you very much.
Pause on that. The debt is growing faster than the economy. I mean, that dollar, the economy grows by $1, and then our debt payment comes in, and it's like $1.05. This is unsustainable.
Over the long run, of course it does. We're borrowing from future generations. It's time for us to get back to putting a priority on fiscal sustainability, and sooner is better than later.
We're just gonna lead the younger generations dry. I'm sorry, this is when ageism. I love being
I'll
old.
get attacked for not knowing a frog video or advertisement. What I do know is that millennials and people like that are probably under the age of really 30 down to 50 are going to face a lot of hardships moving to the future. For example, being able to even simply afford a home. I'm from California. All my family's out there. Me being able to afford a home in California in a good area with, just where I want my kids to be able to go to school. All of that is stuff that's been borrowed off our generation's time and energy. And right now we have not been paid back for that. So future generations, what this means, guys, is the wage versus prosperity gap is continuing to widen and just range larger and larger, where the 1% becomes the 0.1% and the 99% becomes the 99.9%. And it keeps widening. So I'm dropping a video on why, this is extremely bullish on Bitcoin, why I believe Bitcoin and a few of these different altcoins are really going to change that game and narrative for our future generations. This is a bull cycle that I think is going to be larger than any bull cycle we'll ever see as we see Wall Street approach and come into the industry. And I don't want to kind of tease any more than that because you'll have to watch it in tonight's video.
Fade and Tri-Fi, I'm about to travel in the future for you. He's 30 minutes behind just now to get into Arkansas. Go ahead and hit that like button from the future. Padrino says the best. It's a tax on the poor. Tax the poor right there. But we do have something that could set off a mini bull run, everybody. And it's not going to be our unsustainable debt cliff. It's going to be a potential victory for Coinbase. Scaramucci predicts Coinbase will win instrumental legal battle with the SEC, according to this report. And saying the Coinbase will be a very big instrumental case. I predict we will win that case. And by the way, we may lose it, but Brian Armstrong will win it in the Supreme Court. You just look at the matrix of the Supreme Court, who's on it, and I believe we get to a fair regulatory process for digital assets. Now, last time we got a positive headline from a court victory, XRP had a semi-victory against the SEC. We got XRP pumped essentially 45 cents to 90 cents in the matter of days.
Yeah.
What can we expect from a Coinbase victory? Will XRP pump? Will Bitcoin pump? Will it be some of the small altcoins pump? What are your thoughts on this?
I am expecting the best outcome of this, which we've coined on this channel now, guys, is the Coinbase effect. So essentially, we had Johnny Deaton come on the show. And if you haven't watched that interview, you want to go watch the alpha on that Sunday show from, I believe, 2 weekends ago. But what would happen if Coinbase actually overthrows the SEC in this lawsuit? They become not only just a regulatory front for crypto, they now kind of play this regulatory enforcement, because when they list an altcoin, they went to court. They had all the jurisdictions. They had on a federal level say, no, Coinbase is in the right. They know what they're doing. I believe any altcoin that now gets listed on Coinbase thereafter is going to pump relentlessly because it gets this clarification of it's a safe haven asset. So, going to be interesting how this actually takes place. But no matter what, Coinbase beating the SEC is going to be super bullish for altcoins in general.
I also, there's another mini bull case scenario, and that is ETH ETF is approved, and there's some whale activity. This is a conspiracy. Put on your tinfoil hat. By no means what am I about to say is coming to fruition 100%. This is just a wild, harebrained conspiracy of mine. Dormant Ether address awakens after 8.5 years, realizing a $1.1 million profit. And so this one, since the launch on 2015, these coins have remained securely stored. They did a test transaction, and then they moved about 100 ETH. Various theories thrive the intent here, with one line of thought proposing the revival may stem from recovery of lost or forgotten seed phrases. I don't think that's the case. I don't think you just happen to find a seed phrase from 8 years ago. I'm pretty sure these people knew where all these seed phrases were. But we had another one activated after 8.5 years. This one was 133 ETH. Then we had another one activated after many years. This was 200 ETH. This is $500,000. Oftentimes there's OTC deals. And I think if there's some exposure going to be had by BlackRock and the elites, they're smart enough to not buy off Binance. They're smart enough to not just open buy on Coinbase. They're connected enough to purchase OTC. Is this the OTC shift transfer we're seeing in the run-up for an Ethereum ETF? What do you think of that harebrained conspiracy?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a conspiracy that your Ethereum and Bitcoin is being pulled off of exchanges. So that is a sign. We know the asset managers are here. Wall Street 2.0 is taking place, guys. This isn't your decentralized, beautiful, free land of, just retail audience. It's BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, Vanik. They're all here. And if we see more and more supply getting taken off exchanges, no matter what, whether they do approach through OTC, this is bullish for the longevity of the crypto space in general. So it just feeds into the massive bull narrative for this cycle coming up.
All right, we're going to list the specific, someone was pretty smart here. Who'd they say it? LL Radio Control. All the coins specifically called out in the enforcement against Coinbase pumps. Well, I found it for you, everybody. Let's see here. We have Salami. We have Polygon, Filecoin. And guys, I told you the Filecoin on Cardano, I looked at the market cap difference between Iagon and Filecoin. Billions versus like 80 million or something. So a Filecoin, Sand, Axie, Infinity, Chili's, Flow, ICP, Near, Voyager, Dash, and
Wasn't
Nexo.
Cardano on the original list?
28. Say what?
Wasn't Cardano on the original list?
Cardano, I believe, yes, was on the original list as well. Yeah, there you can see it. Cardano also as well. So Cardano.
Leave it out of that.
Near, I expect Near to pump.
Near definitely.
I think there's, and I'm not going to recommend this because, it's a very risky strategy. But if you want a risky strategy, go buy a literal smallest market cap. Maybe buy the two of them just in case it changes. Make sure you have exposure to the smallest market cap. The millisecond that announcement is released, I expect some people to literally filter by market cap and buy the smallest coin knowing zero about it. I think that's a pretty likely occurrence here. So I think that one might pump too.
Does it look like AMP might be the smallest on that list?
Yeah, and I would say be careful because you want to make sure you have the lowest at the date of announcement. So maybe buy like the 2 or 3 and give yourself a little bit of exposure there. And if they're on Coinbase, they're probably not dead or terrible projects, relatively speaking. And guys, I found 12 stocks to buy for 2024. Let's learn more. We're not going to do that.
Pay $1,000 a month.
Let's see here. We also have some other alt stuff. Anything you wanted to add here, I guess?
Definitely not Algorand.
Definitely not Algo.
That's
okay,
all
just not
say.
Algo.
No, it's because Boots is in the chat. No, guys, let us know what altcoins you guys think are underrated on there. I actually just dropped a video on the most underrated altcoins I believe that are on Coinbase. But again, I think where the hype will come is not technically from the ones that are already listed. It's going to be now the ones that are to be listed. So kind of newer, better hype. There's going to be a lot of this traction around that raise and those fundings, especially through Coinbase Ventures. So I think actually you have a video where you talk about certain layer 2s or cryptos that have been invested into by Coinbase. Coinbase Ventures, I think, is going to be like a dominant portfolio you want to watch. So when you see them touch a new project, not every crypto they invest into is on Coinbase yet. And that might be a key area to start finding some hidden gems that could move this next cycle if they were to get listed.
Filecoin, I told you guys to sell the majority of your Filecoin, I think 2-3 months ago. And I told you to buy OP and ARB. So I feel good about that. I sold 2/3 of mine. And I honestly almost want to sell the remaining third and put it into Iagon. I think there's a lot more opportunity there. So that's my, it's got a little bit of an inflated supply when you look at the previous all-time tops there. So that's my only reason. It's still a multiple to reach all-time high, but nowhere near token price multiple. So token price multiple, whoa, if we reach all-time highs, it's nuts. Market cap multiple, like a 4 or 5x. And, I'm looking for things a little bit better than that. 508, we're sorry, 508. Don't hate us. Uniswap reclaims top deck spot after brief Jupiter decline. And, my opinion is Jupiter fell because the airdrop happened. Everyone quit farming the airdrop. And then now we're back to normal usage. And Uniswap's going to be king of the throne there. So Uni, though, I'm also not super bullish on Uni. I sold most of my Uni as well, but we do like the protocol. Until they want to give the token holders their revenue, I'm just slightly bearish on holding it long term. You got to give us the revenue. You got to give us the revenue, because otherwise, why am I holding the token? So I can vote. Governance. Woo! Governance. No one cares about governance. No one will ever care about governance. Unfortunate. So, but that being said, it's the top protocol. We did a puffer. Attracts nearly 200 million on the first day here. You've heard anything about puffer here?
I have not yet. It's kind of just going to show how much money is flooding into this market. When there's altcoins dropping almost every day now, and it's like 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million. It's, so I haven't checked out Puffer at all right now.
It's a restake narrative, and it's using Lido's staked ETH token. I feel like this restake narrative is going to crash soon. And so, I'm just kind of on a wait and see. I think there's going to be some winners, but there's too many restakers, and I think the ecosystem's only going to support 2, 3, maybe 5 big winners.
It's fun that they call it liquid staking when you can't even take the native asset. You have to convert it.
Yeah. But it kind of just reminded me of the Bored Ape scenario, where like Bored Apes hit a certain price and people were literally taking out loans against their other NFTs to restake and then take out more loans to buy more Bored Apes, and all of a sudden they have 100 Bored Apes. But then as soon as the first one, defaults, all of a sudden you just lose the rest of your 99% of Bored Apes. I think we're coming up to that point. When you keep staking and staking and staking, this is just fractional banking 2.0. And, you can make money off of it. Just know the risks that are attached to each of these
Q&A,
networks.
would you rather buy Link or MATIC if you had to choose one? Chris P, I'll give you a little alpha here. I'm going to do a 10K portfolio update. I might be saying both. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say both, but I think the Link bag is going to be bigger. Let's see here. People care, DZ, go vote.
Yeah, I'd have to say both on that too.
Solana's bullish. XRP is better than all altcoins. What the F? I think Chainlink's...
Did you have a stroke? Did you have a stroke?
Oh, I think Chainlink's a stronger project. I think it has a stronger multiples and stronger narrative moving forward here.
Well, just like, the XRPL is a layer 1 that just integrated smart contracts, just integrated NFT. It's far behind a lot of the smart contracts.
So did Cardano. So don't you dare.
Again, people are like, Josh, you're so negative. It's like, I'm not being negative. I'm being like just realistic on the price action. XRP can hit $2. I truly believe that. Chainlink, I think, can hit $100. I truly believe that. MATIC, I think, can absolutely pop off, especially as it's going to be a layer 1. That's only an $8 billion market cap versus a $30 billion like XRP. It's where I diversify, right? You just got to diversify. But being better than every other network, I want to say XRP is better at being an oracle than Chainlink.
Yeah.
It can't.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here with the big weekend news, everybody. Semi-related to crypto, and that's the nerd goggles. The nerd goggles are in the wild. We can see the nerds. The nerds on the subway, the nerds walking in the park, all the nerds eating lunch. Viral concept imagines Vision Pro live deepfake feature, but Apple rules means it's not possible. Yeah, have you seen the clip of the deepfake thing? You can, that is wild. That stuff like that is going to happen. What an awkward conversation between two lovers. Why are you wearing your goggles, baby? Don't worry about it. Let's see here. They're turning her boyfriend into like Leo DiCaprio, the Jack version. Miles Teller, Zac Efron, probably work on his face on the Vision Pro there.
Damn.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Pre-work on his face.
Let's see. Let's just kind of look
good.
here. No, you're not hot enough. Yeah, well, I need you to paint me like your women. Okay, now play drums in
Paint
some
me
other
like
movie.
a French girl, Jack.
All right, be my neighbor
Hey, I
and
knew
be
that
a
one.
frat guy there. All right, so thoughts on the Apple Vision Pros? What are your thoughts here?
I watch all those tech channels and they all say it's not worth 7 times the money as the Meta Quest 3. But I'm not going to spend $3,400 on it. What I'm more alarmed with is watching all the truck videos right now, the Tesla truck drivers wearing the Apple headgears and they're like doing this, or I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think it's the first version. So let's put it that way.
Darwinism in its purest form.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a cool step, but I think by version 4, the glasses will be much smaller and there'll be a day where they're the size of the glasses I'm wearing now, or they'll be contacts. And so, I think it's a cool step in that future, but I still think we're far away from being mass adopted with. You can't afford $3,400. That's as much as a car.
Yeah. Why aren't you talking about pork and pawn? Pork, I didn't even come up on CoinGecko because it's a nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's going to change the world. Marlin is like an old 4chan coin. I actually used to own Marlin. It is up 13% today. So, if you listen to 4chan in 21, I'm sorry. But if you listen like a year ago, they probably weren't posting about it enough for you to be a buyer. But yeah, Pond is up 13%. Last 3 months, it looks like all coins. It's up, all stronger coins. So hey, maybe it's going to turn into something because this is a really low market cap, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, whoa, that's 200 million. I didn't know Pond had a 200 million market. I thought it was like sub 100. So, good luck. Good luck. It ties back to our frog narrative, that's all I got. You got anything for the people?
Well, we got the $50,000 giveaway that's taking place, guys. A trading tournament coming out with Blofin here, guys. So if you haven't already signed up for this, make sure you guys go enter, especially with all the traders that are in our Discord, as well as part of the members of the stream. $50,000 chance to win some USDT. And then the update on the rules from last weekend, we did have some miscommunication on our end on the $500. So make sure, guys, if you win the $500 weekly, it's kind of like we're giving you free chips at the casino. Whatever profit you would make with that in 30 days, you get to take back. So if you took that $500 and you turn it into $2,500, you're going to get $2,000, right? So that's how that process works. But make sure you guys sign up for the $50,000 USDT giveaway, guys. You only have 14 days left to be able to register for it. And we're going to be doing this in the Discord. It's going to be an absolute awesome time. The other thing, guys, is if you haven't already, make sure you guys click the decrypted.tax link in the description below. Guys, seriously, he only takes like 2 or 3 a week. I think this week might be full, so you can go check out and make sure you sign up.
Hurry up for next week.
Yeah, hurry up.
It's starting to get harder and harder to get one, so I would go ahead and just do it today.
They're free hour consultations, guys, so the guy only has so much time. But make sure you do it. I did mine.
He doesn't have a time machine and you just give everyone a consultation?
No, unfortunately,
okay. Well, it's finite time. He's running out of spots. So if you want to get a free hour with a tax expert, I would say that's pretty cool there.
Yeah.
Lawnmower Man did nothing wrong. I agree. Hit that like button. Hey, if you want to support the channel and you want to support crypto, hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything and it pumps your bag. That's all we got. Every like is $1 on Bitcoin.